This is John Wilkes Booth. He was born on May 10, 1838 in Bel Air, Maryland, ninth out of 10 children. John spent most of his early childhood living on the family farm worked by slaves. John Wilkes Booth attended Milton Boarding School for Boys when he was younger. After his father's death in 1852, Booth left his studies at the Milton Boarding School for Boys, but continued them at the prestigious military school St. Timothy's Hall. John became interested in acting at age 16. He made his acting debut at age 17 in Shakespeare's Richard III, which is about an English family living under King Edward IV's rule, but Richard becomes power-hungry and aspires to secretly take the throne and decides to kill anyone he has to in order to become king. During the Civil War, John Wilkes Booth was a Confederate secret agent. After John would sneak into the Union camps, he would come back with all the information on where they kept ammo and where they could make surprise attacks to get ahead. Booth's original plan was to kidnap Lincoln and hold him until the Union soldiers would return the Confederate prisoners of war, but this plan failed and he did not kidnap Lincoln. After the Civil War had ended and the Union had won, John Wilkes Booth devised a plan to avenge the South by killing Lincoln that night at Ford's Theater during the performance of Our American Cousin. This is Abraham Lincoln. Born on February 12, 1809 in Hodgeville, Kentucky, he would become the 16th President of the United States. He would marry Mary Todd Lincoln and have 4 children, William, Robert, Edward, and Tad. This is Sarah Bush Lincoln. This was Lincoln's second mother after his first mother sadly died while he was young. These two were very close. After his father remarried to Sarah Bush Lincoln, she was able to provide Lincoln with a full year of formal education. After this, he was able to study law. Abraham Lincoln ran in the United States presidential election of 1860. Even though Lincoln only received 40% of the popular vote, he still easily defeated the other 3 candidates. Throughout Lincoln's life, he really enjoyed going to the theater, but little did he know that going to the theater would actually eventually be the death of him. On April 14, 1865, Lincoln arrived at Ford's Theater to see a performance of Our American Cousin. Lincoln was then escorted to the presidential box, where the terrible events of that night would unfold. Our American Cousin is a 3-act comedy written by Tom Taylor. John Wilkes Booth waited outside the presidential box for the right time to attack. He waited till Act 2, Scene 3, when President Lincoln had bent over with laughter. John Wilkes Booth shot President Abraham Lincoln behind the left ear.
here with the news team. Today we have a special guest, John Wilkes Booth. So John, what were your motives for killing Lincoln?
The Confederacy was dead, my cause was lost, and all my dreams of glory were shattered.
Fascinating. How old was Lincoln at the time?
56.
How did you know Lincoln would be there that night?
A letter arrived from the President's messenger addressed to the owners of Ford's Theater, such as myself, and so I knew he would be there.
Can you tell us the events that took place that night at Ford's Theater?
I entered the presidential box unseen and waited for the right moment to shoot him.
Joyful. Have any assistants, John?
Yes, I did.
Where did you shoot?
Beneath the ear and the head.
Did you have any weapons?
A gun and a knife.
How long was it until you were caught?
12 days.
And when did Lincoln die?
The next day.
Thank you, John. That is all the time we have today. Remember, I am Tanya Lewis, and this is the news team.